So you've had a few weeks with these guys now. What are you seeing from them?
I see great anger and great opportunistic willingness to want to do what I would like us to do, and for doing the best every day on the pitch. And I see extremely good spirit, and I see players working hard, and it seems as a very good group.
Seem like you're working them hard too. Ranko was saying he's been here long. He's the longest tenured player in this club. He said that this has been the hardest preseason so far. What's the kind of? There's no easing into it from under your regime. Is that by design?
I don't know. I think that it's very important that we set a high bar for what we want to achieve, and if we want to do that, we have to show on the training ground, and of course we want to be ambitious of how we want to play and what we want to achieve. So we have to start always on the training ground to work the best we can. It's not always the hardest, but sometimes we have to be a little wiser, but and not always just put the lungs and heart into it, but also sometimes use the brain a little bit. But I think it's been a very good preseason so far. Of course, 3 weeks is a long time where you also get fatigued on the way, but that is very normal. And then we had the training session today where we also gave a little extra. So I think it's been very good. Things will not just, come out of the blue, so we have to work with it. It's tough work and hard work, but I think players have been excellent.
When you look at this group, what excites you about them?
The mentality, to be honest. Also, the cohesiveness when they are together. I think it's very important that when you want to build a good team, it's important that they also, are good together, not only on the pitch but also off the pitch. That's where I really learned to know them in Marbella, right? If you have 3 weeks, where everything can, people can be tired of being there for that's a long time, and everybody seemed excited and happy and making a lot of fun with each other and stuff like that, and that's a good thing. That's always a good sign, because in sports you will always meet diversity and bad times, and that's when you really have to be well connected and trust each other, and that's what we always want to do, building belief and trust in between each other, because we know it's not just a straight road to the stars, it's always winding, and we have to be prepared for that.
As for Ryan Paul's obviously the guy who's been the creator around here, and it seems like if he wasn't either assisting or scoring, not much else was happening. Do you feel from within that you have that Ryan can get a little more support this year as far as scoring, etc.? Have you seen that? Do you feel that capable?
Yeah, from what I've seen Ryan be very involved in a lot of the good stuff we are doing, also offensively, but I also see other players support. We had Brian coming in late. He also put down a mark without scoring, but done well assisting and also be a part. I would like our game to be more fluid, so we are not just depending on one guy's individual actions. We should be a team that can produce chances and hopefully for many different players. So it's a good thing. It's a good thing that Ryan has been very good and also productive goal scoring wise, and also setting up for others. But of course we would like others to be part of that group as well. I think we have addition of Jaden and Emmanuel, and then Ali will have to step up also as well in that department, and we have other midfield players as well that we need to also have scoring goals, not just assisting and getting close, but also getting all the way in and score as well.
It's a really big year for Brian White. What are you expecting from him on the pitch this season?
I expect him to be a constant threat, to be a guy that helps his team not only with scoring, but he's very good at linking up with his teammates. So he will also be participating to keep the flow in our game, and he helps the team in many ways. I also talked to him about that. For me, it's not just important that he scores, but that because he will, over the course of a season, he will score goals. but also that he reminds himself that there's a lot of good things that he helps the team doing, both on and off the ball. So that's important for me. I know that attackers, they measure themselves, and a lot of people measure them upon their goal scoring abilities and how many goals and stuff, but he's a guy that helps the team in many ways, and that's a good thing, and that's enough for me.
It was the first Whitecaps training session here at BC Place. Your thoughts on the whole stadium, of course the pitch?
I think the pitch will be a big advantage for us. It's nice, so that's a good thing. I like this stadium. It's beautiful. Beautiful to be here. The noise, I think, will be different when we play, I hope. But of course, I can also see that the upgrades are on the way. Of course, heading towards the World Cup next year, so that's normal. But I really think this is a beautiful stadium and a beautiful place, and nice place to be in. I hope that we can turn it into a fortress for the Whitecaps this season.
Do you have an update on Krylak? I did not see him out there today.
Yeah, Damir has had a problem in his calf, and he's close to being back. But of course, it takes a bit of time for him to be fully back. Today's session was also a really intense and hard one, so that's not the one he just been throwing into when he's had a setback here.
You have a new member of your staff, a Danish member. What can you tell us about this individual?
I can tell you that his name is Jan, and yes, he's very experienced from both in the Danish Federation and in the Danish top football as well, and also now he came directly from Anderlecht, where he was a part of the coaching staff as well, assistant coach there, and I think it's a very good addition. We need a very good and also a big staff, because we have a lot of games coming up. We have a lot of training sessions, and I also have other duties than just coach, as you can see. So it's very important that we have a very good team around the team. And for me, football is teamwork. It's teamwork on the pitch, but it's also teamwork outside of the pitch. So I think the staff right now, it looks very, very competent, very good, and I'm very happy with what I've seen so far.
Can fans expect any more additions to the squad soon?
Maybe, yeah.
Maybe a striker?
We got to figure it out, but of course we look into how we can strengthen the squad best possible, and as long as we have opportunities and the window's open, then we'll of course seek that. But we don't have anyone just under the carpet here yet.
As a coach, how do you prepare for the condensed, busy start to the season that you got here?
Yeah, to be honest, it's difficult because I don't have the experience from what we're used to. I have experience with games coming up close to each other, but not by flying 7 hours to Costa Rica and then directly to Portland and stuff like that. So it's new to me, and that's why it's very important that I also have people around me that has the experience in these kind of situations. So I'm looking forward to it. Of course, also talk to the players about this is not about having a team. This is about having a squad where everybody can participate at any time. And I think that's the most important thing now, is that we build in the way we want to play, and that everybody understands the roles when they have to play, because it will not just be 11 players that will play throughout the season. We'll have plenty of opportunities to use a lot of players.
How do you feel about your depth as far as down the roster?
Yeah, I think it looks okay. I'm pretty happy with that. Again, I don't have much experience to how to build a roster in the MLS. It is quite different from what you're used to in Europe. But I think that the roster looks very solid and very good.
Jesper, you talked in the first press conference about how you didn't want to talk about formations or anything until you got to know the team. Now that it's been 3-4 weeks, we've seen a pretty consistent formation and system. Would you say that now you've established what kind of philosophy you want to have with the team?
The philosophy is not dependent on the system, but the system is, helping us how we would like to approach some things, and can maybe make it a little bit easier. Yeah, I think that the system has been For now, one way when we play against the ball, it's been 4-3-3. When we have the ball, it's a little bit different. Then we open up spaces in a different way, but we will be able to play different formations. Also because we know that sometimes you meet opponents that will have special special players that you have to have an eye on and or maybe take a little bit extra care of, and you also have to have the flexibility to do something maybe under pressure or maybe because you need to mix things up a little bit. So we'll have to have different formations that we can turn to in whenever we need it. But before we do that and before we start being flexible, we need to be solid in doing one thing, and then we can start adding.
And are you a kind of coach that you would say that you have nailed on starters, you have your starting 11, 12, 13, or is it more of everyone gets a chance to prove themselves and you switch things up as the season goes on?
I think that in football it's never you never start over. You always carry something with you, and of course there is some kind of hierarchy. But as I understand throughout my career as a player and as a coach, it's always fluid, and you have the belief that this guy he's the most obvious every time in the starting lineup, and all of a sudden he's out of it because somebody has moved. I would say that I'm not settled for how we're going to play in Preseason, but I think the good thing is that we have a lot of good options, and that's the most important part for me, because if some players get injured or some players maybe don't live up to the expectations you have, then it's good that we can change.
And then lastly for me, you've talked about before the style of play that you like to play, and we've seen the being put on in these games in Marbella and everything. How have you seen the players sort of adapt to it, this kind of high pressure, possession heavy, attacking focus style of play?
I've seen them, doing everything they can to try to adapt to it, and of course I always tell them that we will not be perfect, we'll never be, but we have to have the ambition to try and be, and we are not there yet. But I see small steps taken almost every day, and that's the important part. We also see that habits you're having and build up throughout many years, you don't change them overnight, and that's normal. So that's something that you have to do throughout lots of repetitions, and that's what we try to do throughout training sessions. There's so many things that we would like to do, and we know that we will have to take some time, but there's a lot of things that you can do where you can make up for it by working very hard and support your teammates. And that's, if we start there, then I think that will be good, and then we'll build on the way we want to play.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you so
Is that
much.
good?
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Jesper.
Good.